You're doing the hard work. You're holding your boundaries. You're learning to advocate for yourself. You're starting to heal. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, you look around and notice something strange. People are disappearing. Not in a dramatic way, not with conflict or confrontation. They're just fading away. Friends who used to reach out don't reach out anymore. People you expected to be there are not there. The phone is quieter than it used to be. And you are left wondering, what happened? And if you're experiencing this, I want you to know something. This is a recognized part of recovery. It happens to a lot of men coming out of abusive relationships. And while it feels like abandonment, what's actually driving it is a lot more complicated than it looks. For those of you who are new here, this is Stand Again, a lived experience platform for male victims of family violence. If this content helps you, please like, subscribe, and add the words Stand Again into the chat. Now, let me be specific about what we're talking about here, because this is not about friends who vanish during the abuse. It's not about people who disappeared when false allegations were leveled. This is about something different. This is about friends who started to fade as you healed, as you do the work, as you change. You notice it in small ways at first. Someone who used to talk to you regularly just hasn't called in a while. Someone who was present during the separation seems to have stepped back now that things are stabilizing. People aren't reaching out the way they used to. Invitations dry up, messages go unanswered, and there's no fight, no falling out, no clear reason, just absence. It creates feelings you weren't expecting, like loneliness, obviously, but also betrayal, grief, and confusion. And perhaps worst of all, that creeping thought, maybe I'm broken. Maybe everyone can see the damage. Maybe they're avoiding me because there's something wrong with me now, something that wasn't there before, something the abuse left behind. That thought is painful. It's also not the whole picture. Because when friends vanish during a healing, it's rarely one thing, it's multiple things happening all at once, all of which look identical from the outside. And until you can sort out which is which, you'll keep interpreting all of it as rejection. So, what's actually happening here? Some people vanish because you've changed, and they don't know how to engage with the new version of you. You are not behaving as the same person you were. You used to accommodate. You may used to bend. You may have said yes when you meant to say no. And now you have boundaries. Now you say no with confidence. Now you're not automatically putting everybody else's needs ahead of your own. And for some people, that shift is disorientating. Sorry, I should put my phone on silent. One second. And it's not that they don't care about you, it's that the relationship had a certain shape, and that shape has changed. They don't know the new rules. They don't know if they should reach out, what to say, or even how to be. They might be worried about saying the wrong thing. They might even be wondering if your feelings towards them have changed. So instead of navigating that uncertainty, they avoid the interaction altogether. They care, but they're clumsy. And clumsiness looks like distance. Some people vanish because the old dynamic served them in ways neither of you fully acknowledged. When you were a people pleaser, when you were bending over backwards to help everyone around you, some people benefited from that. Maybe not in an abusive way, maybe not to the extent your ex did, but there was a flow. You gave, they received. Now that you've stopped over functioning, now that you're not running around making sure everyone else is okay at your own expense, the relationship doesn't deliver what it used to. These people aren't necessarily bad, but the friendship was built, at least partly, on access to your effort, your time, and your emotional labor. When that access closed, they moved on. They didn't consciously decide to exploit you, they just drifted towards wherever they could get what they used to get from you. This disappearance tells you something about what that relationship actually was. Some people vanish because they've heard things. If false allegations came through during the separation, people in your circle will have been touched by that. Some will have believed it outright, others won't be certain. Some will be cautious. They're not 100% sure if it's false, so they keep their distance just in case. They don't want to be seen as taking a side, so they're trying to stay neutral, and neutral looks like absence. Some people vanish because you're the one who's pulled back. As you heal, you become more discerning. Some people in your circle minimize the abuse. Some weren't safe to confide in. Some drained you more than they filled you. And now, without even consciously deciding, you're not reaching out to them the way you used to. You're protecting your mental health. You're choosing yourself. Through natural attrition, those relationships fade. That's not them abandoning you. That's you making a choice about who gets access to you during a vulnerable time. Some people vanish because there's a mismatch in emotional tone. Post abuse you might not be the light, happy, bouncing for joy version of yourself that you used to pretend to be when you were in the relationship. You might be more serious now, more stoic, still processing. And some people want that light and frivolous facade you put up when you're in the relationship. They want that fun and easy. That was you once, but it's not you right now. So they drift towards people who match where they are at, and you're left wondering why they stopped calling. And some people vanish for no reason that has anything to do with you at all. Life gets busy, people drift. Major life transitions reshuffle social networks, even without abuse in the background. Sometimes their absence is just life. Their world gets full. Time got away from them, and reaching out fell off the list. It's not personal, it's not about you, it's just the natural rhythm of how friendships ebb and flow. There's also a deeper layer here, too. All of those reasons I went through are real, but there's something underneath them that makes this whole experience hurt more than it should. And until you understand it, you'll keep feeling like every vanishing friend is proof that you're broken. After abuse, your self trust has been eroded. You might not be at a place yet where you can validate yourself, where you can make decisions without needing external confirmation that you're doing the right thing. So, in many ways, you need those old friends around you. You need the voices telling you that you're okay, that you're not crazy, that you're not as damaged as you feel. You need the metaphorical pat on the head that says, "You're doing all right, mate." When those people go quiet, it doesn't just feel like loneliness, it feels like a verdict, like confirming that you're wrong, that you're failing, that everyone can see what you fear is true about yourself. The sting is sharper than it should be because you're still borrowing your sense of safety from other people's approval. Until you can self validate, until you can be your own source of reassurance, every silence will feel like judgment. And here's the twist: some relationships were quietly built around that exact dynamic. You needed reassurance, they got to be the one who gave it. They got to be the wise friend, the stabilizing presence, the one who pats you on the head. When you start to heal, when you start to find your own voice and your own agency, you stop needing that from them and they sense that shift. The thing they used to provide, you're now providing for yourself. Some relationships adapt into something mutual and adult, others fade because without that dynamic, there's not much left. So, what do you actually do with all of this? Well, you start by sorting it through, getting a better understanding of the various people in your life and why they may have vanished. You don't need certainty about why each person vanished, you just need a starting working map, something that you can test, something that you can tease. You got to look at what those people are actually doing and put them into rough categories based on what you can observe. Confused but decent, transactional. This person believes the story. This one might have just been natural drift. Someone I actually pulled back from. You're not seeking to read minds here, but you are trying to make your best assessment based on behavior from them and from you so that you know how you might be able to bridge that gap and bring them back into your life. You might look for some people who seem confused but decent and consider making a small repair bid, one message that gives them a safe script to follow. Something that communicates, I'm steady, I value you, a simple catch up is welcome. No heavy topics unless you ask. A lot of people are waiting for permission to reach back out. They might feel awkward, they don't know what to say. They've let time pass until the gap suddenly feels too big. So give them an opening and just see what happens. For the people who may have benefited from the old you, don't chase those. Their disappearance is data. The work isn't getting them back. The work is grieving what you thought that friendship was versus what it actually was. That's a loss worth feeling. And then it's gone. It's done. Good riddance is sometimes the right conclusion. For people who believed the story or hold doubt, you need to decide if clarity is worth it. Not every relationship deserves a defense brief. Your nervous system will want to prosecute the case to prove yourself, to make them understand. But recovery sometimes means choosing where you spend that energy. Some people are worth the fight, some are not. You get to decide. For relationships you're not ready for right now, keep a low flame going. You don't have to write people off just because you can't be close to them at this moment. Some friendships can be picked up later when you're in a different place. Keep the connection alive, lightly, without pressure. Don't close doors. You're acknowledging your current capacity until you're fully healed. And underneath all of that, you need to work on your self validation. This is the real work. As long as you need external approval to feel okay, every silence will feel like danger. Start building the muscle. When you make a decision, ask yourself, what value am I acting from? What evidence do I have that this was reasonable? If a good man I respected did this, would I judge him? Teach yourself to validate your own choices instead of waiting for someone else to do it. One more thing, be careful about misreading silence. Your nervous system has been calibrated for threat. In the abusive environment, silence often preceded punishment. But you're not in that environment anymore. Silence sometimes is just silence. Sometimes busy is just busy. Try to treat it as missing data rather than a verdict. You don't know what it means until you have more information. Test your map. Keep trying. Keep reaching out to people in your circle that you value. When friends vanish as you heal, it can feel like the final betrayal. You survived the abuse, you left, you're doing the work, and now the people who were supposed to be there are gone. It compounds the loneliness, it makes you question yourself. It can make you want to withdraw completely and wait until you're ready to re emerge. But here's something you need to understand. Your social network was always going to reconfigure. That's not a sign that something went wrong. It's a sign that you changed. Some relationships were built for the old you, the pleasing you, the accommodating you, the you who needed reassurance to function. As you heal into someone with boundaries, someone with agency, someone who can validate themselves, the relationships that fit that version of you will look different. Some people will adapt. Some people will only ever there for what you gave them. Some people are waiting for permission to speak. Some people believed a lie. Some people just got busy. It's not one thing. Sort it out as best you can, grieve what needs grieving, and then turn your attention to building the network that fits who you are becoming, not who you were, who you are now. This is Stand Again, lived experience platform for male survivors of family violence. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Your voice might just help another man find his. If you're looking for one on one support, you can book coaching with a member of the Stand Again team. Simply visit standagain.com.au, where you will also find grounded information on surviving and recovering from family violence as a man. As always, remember that no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you can stand again.